Hi, I'm Matt from Soul Shifter. Welcome back to my channel. So, I want to speak to you about the ancestors today. Well, not really the ancestors, but people that are the elders in our community, people who we should look up to and respect, and the people who pass down their knowledge and their expertise to the younger generations. Now, this has been something that it's been a lifelong story for many, many, many cultures, including our culture. Um, and when I say our culture, and I'll explain this just now, our culture being white people, Caucasians, okay? We also have this thing of passing down our ancestry to one another. It's more prevalent amongst non-whites, non-Caucasians. And I'll tell you why. And this is a sad, sad thing. It is because non Caucasians, and this is probably going to be a bit controversial, I believe that non Caucasian people have more tradition than what whites do. Okay. This is not a racial thing at all. It's just seems to be more of a fact in my experience, me. Okay. I find that people of color, certain races, certain, I wouldn't say races, I want to say cultures, have more um, they have more of a culture to pass down. I think that white people are such a mix of cultures. It's sometimes very, very difficult to do this. But having said all of that, I don't want to get into like the whole sort of racial political thing here because that's not what my channel is about, as you well know. What I would like to talk about is the passing down of ideas, the passing down of certain things that our elders know about. And I'm going to give you an example. For instance, something very simple. If you have a granny who bakes really, really well, okay, she makes the most delicious Victorian sponge cake. You've never eaten anything so light and fluffy and delicious in your entire life. And you have been begging her, Granny, please, please show me how to do this. And she's like, oh, this is my secret. This is my family's tradition. Anyway, Granny eventually passes away, and her cookery book comes to you. That is passing down a generational item. That is passing down generational knowledge. One day, when you are old and decrepit and need a walker to get around, okay, you're going to take that book. Well, I'm hoping that you will take that book and pass that on to your daughter or your son, um, and say to them, because boys can also bake, by the way. So you could pass that down, and they in turn could pass it down to their offspring. And I find this fascinating. I find this idea not only fascinating but really beautiful, and it's something that has been playing on my mind a lot lately. And I'll tell you why. We have a situation where Justin's granny is she's very elderly and she's very frail. She's in her 80s, um, and she is now at that stage where she is saying, "There's my cookery book. There's my book on how to, this is my recipe on how to make the most delicious veda, or this is my recipe to make the most delicious chili bats or samosas or whatever." So she is slowly giving that information, that generational information. She is passing it down. All right, she's passing it down to her grandchildren and hopefully her great grandchildren who are very tiny, but they are coming over to South Africa soon just to see her. Um, so there's all this generational knowledge that's been passed down, and I would hate for us, especially whites, to lose this. Other cultures have got this nailed. They've got it nailed down. They expect this. It's like a thing for them. It's their culture. Um, um, the whole sort of looking after their elderly, looking after their matriarchs, and looking after the history and the family dynamic that comes with the elderly. Unfortunately, us white people just shove our elderly into homes. Okay, we don't really look after them. We like to out of sight is out of mind, as they say. And I'm generalizing. Of course, I'm generalizing, but it does happen. It does. It's more prevalent amongst us than what it is amongst, say, the black community. All right, the Indian community, the Chinese community. All right, the Oriental communities. They look after their elderly. They don't just dump them somewhere. All right, and think this is where this is one of the reasons why they take care of their elderly, they respect them, they look up to them, because they know that these people have gone through so much and these people have got so much to pass on and to teach. And yes, even once they've died, they've passed over, their knowledge will live. Their knowledge will live. Okay. Now, I do want to, I've kind of gone off the topic here a bit, but anyway, I want to show you guys something because I think this is one of the most precious things that I have been given. I was given it this weekend. Um, there's a long story behind this. Now, Justin's granny, she's in her 80s and she's very frail, as I said. And she's an Indian lady. If you know, those of you who know, I'm married to an Indian guy. Um, and one of the things that she had, was a prayer book. Now, this is not like the Bible, okay? This is all her songs, and they're called bhajans, okay? They're religious songs that are sung for very, very specific purposes. At different prayers, you would sing different bhajans, okay? And each of these has got a specific meaning. For instance, you wouldn't sing the porridge prayer bhajan for a funeral, okay, or a funeral bhajan for a wedding, okay. And what she has done is she's made this incredible book, all right. She's made this incredible book um, where she has actually stuck in her all her prayers and all her songs that she would sing. Um, And you know what else she's done? She's got the original in Sanskrit, and she's got the original written, and then she's got the phonetic way of singing these songs. Okay, so even if you don't understand the actual Hindu writing, the Sanskrit, you can still sing these songs phonetically. And I just think that's the most beautiful thing. And she's passed this down. It was found, she hasn't passed it at all. It was found in amongst things that we were going through over the weekend at Justin's mom and them's house. And they just said to me that I'm sure Aya's the granny, I'm sure she would want you to have this because I am Hindu, and this to me is the most fabulous handing down of information anybody could give me, because this is not something I would ever be able to get myself. This has happened over many, many years. Many years it's taken to put this little book, this tiny little book together. And I love the little cover. It's so sparkly and it's so beautiful and it's so old. And it's something that's going to mean so much to me when I only got it yesterday. When I go through it and I read through it and I can see how to say the prayers and what prayers to say when. So what I really want to say is, don't discard your elderly. Don't discard the members of the family that can actually pass down all these incredible bits of information, be it how to make a tea cake, or, as in my case, how to sing the most beautiful, beautiful religious songs and say religious prayers. Because we're losing this, ladies and gentlemen. We're losing this. It's going fast. We are losing the ability to respect our elders and to learn from our elders. I know sometimes they can be a pain in the ass, but they are the ones that teach us, especially things like this. It's a lost art. All right. It's something that we are losing very quickly, and it's so sad to me that this is happening. So see what you can learn from your elders. See what you can learn from your ancestors, your the ones who have led you to where you are. You know who I am. I'm Matt from Soul Shifter, and I will see you next Sunday. Bye.